go. You're up.
What he says, go.
You are on.
Hi, I am Kim Dillon.
Oh, you're introducing me.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Gino Fumaroli. How you doing? And
We are actually two representatives of a company called Big Man's Management. You see the picture in the front. And Gino, I'd like you to actually explain what Big Man's Management is and how it formed.
okay, Big Man's Management, for those of you who are familiar with the term the big man, is representative of Clarence Clemens, legendary saxophonist of the E Street Band. And of course, the big man passed away a few years back. Clarence's son, Nick, who is also Clarence III, and myself got together last year, and above a few other enterprises that Nick is doing with Big Man's West, which is the company name, we decided to start Big Man's Management, and that's going to be a promotions company that really is going to try and delve into just every area of music promotions. We are starting off more with trying to get local clubs to book talent that we can direct towards them. And what we're here on the air for today is just if anybody's out there who wants to maybe talk to somebody about getting a band into a local establishment, or has a band they know that is looking to be booked, or if you know somebody who owns a bar, if you own a bar, a restaurant, or you're looking to get a restaurant to maybe start booking music, let us know, because this is what we do. We have been doing this for about 7 months now, since about November. We have worked with about 14 different venues, and we have booked or in the process of booking of upwards of about 55 or 60 bands.
Working towards 60 now as we go. One of the things, actually, as he has introduced Big Man's Management, who we are, is where we come from and why we are who we are, and glad to be there. Gino comes from a background in music, as do I, but in two totally different formats. I come from the performance side and managing, because I have managed bands I've been in the past. I currently am a member of a band, of an acoustic duo, and several other projects. And as well as the two of us also collaborate on writing and composing and performing originals. So I'm on more of the performance end of it and talent development and things like that. Gino is more on the end of the management of it, from what he's done with actually name acts and the experience of being on the road and doing everything from the technical and cerebral side of it, for lack of a better term. So where do you come from what side?
Well, first of all, Kim's being humble, and we can say this here on the air, although we are representing Big Man's Management. Kim is in one of the premier 80s bands in the area, maybe the state of New Jersey. I say they're the best 80s band in New Jersey. They're called the Suspects.
It wouldn't sound right if I said that, but I'm really proud of them.
You're
You got to
being
know that.
humble, but they are, in my experience of being a road manager, starting out as nothing but a roadie and working my way through better part of a decade, 13 years on the road. I've seen and know what some cover bands are not
He's really
capable
tall.
of. Their band is as good as it gets, and where they do focus on the early days of MTV, when that MTV Music Television actually played music on the
Why do you
air.
always say early days? It's 80 to
Their
89. There's 9
first-
years. It's a decade.
That first 5 years of MTV, for people our age, I'm going to say my age, I was 16 when
You'll
MTV
find we banter a
started.
lot.
But if you were born between 1960 and 1975, you're going to remember MTV, where it was video after video after video. Don't You Want Me, Baby, Centerfold, Walking on Sunshine, Rock the Casbah. Every little thing she does is magic. This is the stuff her band does. 3 singers that are male, hers the female. They cover just about every vocal range, and they're great musically. So that is something that Kim does and takes very seriously. She also does a couple of solo acts on the side. One's called The Tie, with another acoustic guitar player. And one she just started out with our friend Ron. It's called The Dark Side
Duo.
So that's what Kim does, and she does have a music background, college educated in her major. So she's very good at what she does, and she has a very, very impressive singing voice, and also is doing some original stuff to hopefully get a record out there. Me, I've always been just a fan of music. I have a little bit of musical background, but back in the late 80s and early 90s, I became friends with New Jersey artist New Jersey legend John Eddy, and that evolved into a friendship where I started working with him part-time, and the situation prevailed that it became full-time. And what turned into that to be about 13 years on the road with John, literally around the world, different countries and everything else, just about every state, many, many dates in Vegas and so on. And I literally had gotten out of that for a while just because of family reasons.
Hold you back, kid.
And when I was approached by Nick Clemens about starting this company, I thought this would be a good thing to do because I see this from being the middleman, being the guy who works for the band, but also being the guy who has to work with the venues. A lot of times over the years, we were booked in clubs in different states where we would just walk in and not know what to expect. And a lot of times, by the time we got around to playing music, we would be mad at the venue would be mad at us, all because booking agencies did not follow up and do the things they were supposed to do.
They're impersonal.
They sent us in blind, and it's very impersonal. We want to take that and make it something where everybody's happy at the end of the night. We can tell the venue that we will bring a band in, give us your budget, we'll sign a band for that budget. The guarantee of the quality of the music is something we will guarantee because we know what good music is. And there's some bands out there who maybe just aren't ready to be represented by us yet, or maybe some acoustic shows, some open mics, or maybe some benefits where they can hone their skill and maybe get a little bit better. We're going to be honest with that too. So right now we're working on 4 or 5 different venues that we're booking solidly. Something we haven't yet announced, we will be announcing very shortly, of an outdoor festival with multi-bands coming up in August. We're just finishing the details today. So what we're doing here is talking about the business. Again, if you are someone who works at a restaurant or a bar owner, manager, or just somebody who hangs out at a local place and you'd like to see better music, or you'd like to see music in the first place, let us know. We are available through Big Man's Management. And Kim wants to say something.
No. In addition to that, okay, so we told you who we are. However, if anybody's ever met us in person or even seen us from afar, we're like oil and water. We get along. I hear the giggle in the background. No lie, however. But we are like oil and water. And one of the good things about that is our banter is humorous, even though we could be dead serious yelling at each other, however. So also, we'd be very open to some questions or comments or call-ins, ring-ins. I'm not sure. We don't have a tablet in front of us as a monitor. So our monitor is actually the one giggling over there. And if you have any questions, because since the two of us together have covered pretty much a good gamut of entertainment, so then you know you've seen these posts on Facebook, social media at its best. You know, what kind of songs do you put in a set list? How long should a set list be? How do you interact in between? Do you believe there should be a separation between band on stage, audience here, and there's that fine line in between where you don't cross? Some people are like, hey, you like us? Come up and join us on stage. All kinds of things like that. So I'd be curious to know if anybody has any questions, comments, or just wants to voice what they feel and see what we think about the scene.
And there's another aspect of it. And she makes some valid points there. There have been times where I have been involved with a young act being an opening act, and I see a lot of potential in them. The kids are good musically. They have a good singer. Their selection of songs is good, but they don't have any stage presence.
No,
they don't
that
really
little
know
tweak that takes you over.
working
to that point,
the crowd is, when you're a musician, you're a singer, you're a singer. But when you're a performer, you have to be a little bit
Everything.
MC, a little bit comedian.
Yeah, but you're also kind of like bartender syndrome. You're also there to listen to everybody. Some people come up to you crying, going, oh my God, I haven't heard that song in 20 years. And then you get the bartender syndrome or barbershop or things like that where you're a counselor too.
The only problem is that when they continue to talk to you about the song and you're already into your next song,
Yeah, that
you
happened
also
this
have to
weekend.
know the limit and say, oh, that's really nice. I'll talk to you after the show.
No,
and maybe we can call crisis for you
No,
or
that's
whatever.
why you do the gentle unspoken rules and nods to the other people in the band. And then you kind of find a way to work your way around. And usually when the guys are cordless on their guitars, because they get to be, I hide behind a keyboard. They get to walk around and kind of gently sing, "Aw," and then lead the person back into the audience, and then they kind of find their way back home, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that is another aspect to consider about live music. There's a lot of do's, there's a lot of don'ts, and you will see some bands that can almost be ignoring to their crowd.
Don't like that.
And again, I will say it out there, and if he sees this, I've worked for many years with John Eddy, and John is the kind of guy who would fly by the seat of his pants. Very rarely did he ever put together a set list, which I always respected that because John would read the room. He would read the crowd. There were nights where it was a little bit mundane, and he thought, all right, keep it a little softer, talk it up. And there were other nights where he knew that it was 6, 7, 8 deep up against the stage, and these people wanted to rock, and he'd come out there and he'd blast it away. But even at the same time, there would be that one night during the show, and he got to do it on a regular basis. He would play Honky Tonk Woman. He'd say, all right, all the girls come up on stage. And we had a lot of regulars who, they almost would go to the same part of the stage. They knew to dance along with the song. But 4 songs later, there would be that one girl who thought she was allowed to come back on stage every song.
I have it on video.
Yeah, we have a couple videos like that. So the thing is that you know, there's a lot about how to work a stage, how to work a show, and again, this
How to
is
work yourself.
our first effort on this, but we'd love to talk to people. And the other thing is that if you are a fan of live music, what do you want to see? What don't you want to see? We could even open up the forum to, well, I love this cover band. They're really good. I love their sound. But they play these 5 songs over and over again every night, and so does every other
Sometimes
band.
you kind of have to, though.
We do, but at the same time, you know, it's almost like when you go into a music store, there'll be a sign on the wall, please do not practice Stairway to Heaven on a guitar, because the salespeople in it get to hear it 40, 50 times a day. There's times at a rock and roll show where you just walk into a local bar and a band's playing, and
Everybody's
you can
doing
put
Sweet Home
$100
Alabama.
on the table and know that you're going to hear Brown Eyed Girl.
And
You-
Sweet Home Alabama.
My Sweet Home Alabama, maybe Margaritaville. Songs I like, songs I can play. But at the same time, songs everybody else can also play. And sometimes you just maybe want to go up to this band after and say, hey, I love you guys, but did you ever think of maybe trying this song or that song? Or did you notice that tonight when you played Brown Eyed Girl for the 75th straight show that nobody really
People
paid
left the
attention? That's where
stage.
everybody went to the bathroom. And I think some of the local bands need to know that too, because a cover band, far and wide, these guys are what I like to use the term weekend warriors. They're good musicians. They work day jobs. They rehearse maybe one night every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe once a month. And they play 1 or 2 shows on the weekend. So they don't get a chance to change their setup that much. But at the same time, if they do, you never know what night you're going to catch somebody that hasn't been there in a while and said, oh, wow, they got a new set. And 2 weeks they're going to go out and see him again because at least it keeps it fresh. You got your favorite all-time episode of, I don't know, Seinfeld, your favorite episode of Friends. And when it's on once every 2 or 3 years, you want to watch it, but you don't want to turn it on Channel 11 and watch it every night because you know exactly what's going to happen. Unless
Okay,
you're...
so do this. There are people that could find something new every time they see something, even if it's every 2 weeks. So look at it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Say you have a band that has to do Keep Your Hands to Yourself. Okay,
Right.
everybody knows the song, you know the beginning, you know there's the riff in the middle, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So then tweak it and make it your own. So you could hear Keep Your Hands to Yourself, but I'm going to expect something different.
Well,
You know, even if it's something, even like a little choreographed physical movement, if it's, you know, just the way you do the styling of it, you sing it, you kind of inflect a couple words differently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're going to hear the same song again, but every time you hear it, it's going to be a little bit different. That kind of takes it away from that doldrum factor.
Right. No, I totally agree with that, but I think my point is the difference between like a singer-songwriter or an original artist. When you go to see an original artist, and I mean, you go to the big names like this back in the 80s, after Born in the USA, Bruce was so toured out that he stopped playing Born to Run during his shows. He stopped playing Thunder Road during his shows, and the fans were unhappy because they come to see Bruce do 40 songs, but they want to see Born to Run, Thunder Road, Jungle Land,
Okay,
Rosalita,
so he weaves those
and
in
then mix
between, and
up
I'm
all the
sure in
others.
the plethora of songs he has, he plays all the others.
Your band, for a matter of fact, you guys do 2 songs in a very unique way. I'm giving away.
But they're
here.
expected. They are
But
expected.
at the end of the second set, if they have a 3-set night, they do a version of Sweet Caroline. Now, a lot of bands do Sweet Caroline, but the last minute and a half of their version of Sweet Caroline, they turn into the Ramones and the early days of the Who, and they really trash it up. And it's great because it builds up all this energy that instead of people saying, "Oh, the second set's over, it's 11:30, let's head home." Well, they were great. Let's hang out
But
for
the
the third
song
set.
has to be done, because of the crowd that we kind of dictate to
No,
and the
that's a
places
good
we
thing.
play.
But what I'm saying, you guys do that, and that's a good thing. If I'm coming to see your band, that's one of the reasons I want to come back and see it, and I do want to see that every time. And they also end their show, for the most part, with the classic song, The Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And they do it really well because 4 different members of the band sing the parts, and they really, really sound great doing it. So we know, okay, it's the end of the night, that's the last song. But the thing is that when, I won't name any names because you don't want to diss anybody, but a bar owner that we knew had a guy who performed on a weekly basis, and he said, I've had the guy here for 4 months, and I've seen exactly the same set 16 weeks in a row.
That might be all he had too.
And he goes, I'm
might
just
not have been
pounding my
able to
head
actually
against the
expand
wall.
more.
So,
Wow, the screen is different. I wonder if that means somebody's like writing
I
in
have
or
no
something.
idea.
Or that could be Giggles over on the other side trying to do something.
I could be.
I'm not sure.
So anyway,
Never mind. Screen
no,
changed
it's
it
back.
on.
So we're
See?
still looking.
Giggles!
If anybody is out there listening or paying attention on either the radio station channel or on our Facebook pages, you have a distinct honor right now. You could be the first person to either
That is true.
text
No,
or
that's true.
call
That's
in.
true.
If we have a caller, how do we even do that? I don't even
Well,
know.
there's no phone here.
You take care of it, they just pipe it through.
Oh,
You see.
that over there. But see the symbol on the front? That is the Facebook emblem on our cover page. Big Man's Management, Music, and Promotions. The Facebook page is new. The website still has to be finished being made because I hate WordPress. So I haven't decided if I'm going to go with Weebly or Squarespace. Haven't figured that out yet. But look at that on Facebook. You'll start to see what we're doing as we're going forth. Little pop videos that we can do if we can go live with somebody when we're at a show. We try to be at everybody that has, I don't want to say that we represent because some people do have their other agents. We don't go exclusive. We don't say, oh, you have to be with just us. No. If the gig that we've hired you for is the gig you're doing at that time, yes, you are a part of us. But you are still doing what you do, and we're not saying that you are exclusive to us because that's not fair to you. It's not fair to us. So look for that symbol on Facebook that you see down below right here and hit like, and then you'll get a bunch of our posts rather than just maybe getting it in your regular public news feed. And then you could also give us advice, critique, criticism, insight, and ask questions. Check it out.
We have a question.
Okay, Jean Pierre. No, that's you. From Lawrence A. Taylor. What does it take to a person with talent to the next level when you don't have the finances to advertise and promote shows? I love your question. You want to try? Or you want to answer first and then I'll do it?
Well, I think
We
the
might be
thing
different.
is, no, I'll do the short version because she's more the talent. But I think the big thing is right now with the proliferation of social media, one, you have to be talented enough to sing. And if you feel you are, that's good. If you're talented enough to play an instrument and sing and make your own material, then you should be talented enough to get a video camera, an iPhone, try and get something better, and make a video of yourself and put it on your page, share it with your friends. And your friends are going to be your best and worst critics. And you're probably going to have some to say, oh, dude, you suck. No, that's fine, because you're always going to have the friend who's jealous, but you're going to have that one friend to say, you know what, you really got something there. I think you need to work on it. And then this feeds into something that we do. This is Lawrence.
Lawrence. Mm-hmm.
We run open
Hi,
mics.
George.
And that's where you want to go. If you got a guitar or you play keyboards, come out and sing a song. See what the crowd reacts. And somebody like me or Kim, we're also very honest. If somebody comes up to us and says, what do you think? I'm going to say, I think you need work here. I think you were good here. And we offer an honest critique. Not just our open mic. However, this will be the cheap plug time. We're over here in Robbinsville, Route 33 Friendlies, every Sunday night from 5:30 to 9:30. Our format is both open mic and karaoke. We try to take it pretty seriously. If you come with a guitar, we have a sign-up sheet. Everybody gets 3 songs. If we get through the rotation, there's time, then we let everybody do a few more songs. Karaoke, 1 song per person, and then we do a couple more guitar songs. Lawrence, go out and do something like that and see what your reaction is with the crowd. But try at the same time to put something together to show your singing talents. Put it on your page. Don't be hypersensitive, because sometimes you're going to, if you hear your mistakes and you don't sound good to yourself, that's the best thing in the world. The people who do something the first time and think they sound great are what we like to call probably tone deaf. everybody should hear their own mistakes. Kim is one of the best singers that I've ever heard personally live. And when I hear her sing and we record back, she picks out where she's wrong. Not that she's bad, but the thing is she knows where she can do better. Practice, I know this is an old adage, sing in the bathroom. You'll hear yourself and you'll get dialed
Good
into your own voice.
segue.
So anyway, the big thing is work on your stuff. If you've got people who will perform with your friends who maybe do know how to play, get in a basement one night for a couple hours, and believe it or not, don't be nervous. Do some very, very simple songs. Even if it's old nursery rhymes that are 2 chords, row, row, row your boat, you'll start to harmonize, you'll start to get a rhythm. Before you know it, you might throw a few songs together.
I'm going to say something you don't like.
Go ahead.
If you want to say row, row your boat, row your boat, I'm tongue-tied. Do it in the minor. It'll drive him crazy. But anyway, we're not going to get into minor keys.
I'm a major
not
chord.
talking here.
I am a major chord kind of guy. I go from the cathedral of classic rock and country, 3 chords, and the truth will get you home every time.
And the dog and the beer in the house. I know. However, no, Lawrence, I'm going to reread your question one more time. What does it take to a person with talent to the next level when you don't have the finances to advertise and promote shows? Well, first and foremost, you just did right here. We just said your name how many times? There's a name drop. Bet you didn't get that, right? However, social media is your friend. Make it your friend. You don't need to go on social media and say, I had pizza today. Honestly, unless it's somebody who really knows, like, wow, you like pizza? Don't care. Use social media to your advantage. Where are you going to be? What are you doing? And if you are able to use PowerPoint, Publisher, any of those programs that you could turn into a JPEG or any of the different formats compatible to post on the Facebook, do some props, do a little slideshow, turn it into a little small video within 20 seconds, put it up there, your picture, a little background music, start getting creative with the computer, make social media your friend. So right there, it's free because right now there's no internet police. So unless you're going to go say you're going to do something totally not legal, use it to your advantage. I am this is what I do. Would you guys like to hear me? Hey, here's something I wrote. Post it. Get some advice, get some feedback. Some people might, as Gino said, be completely dorkish. I'm not going to say the bad word form of that. And then you have some other people going, wow, that was really good. Here's what I think. But people are voicing their opinion. Good, bad, or ugly, even negative opinions are as good as positive opinions because you can take from it. You have the right to decide how much weight to put into those comments, but they were given to you as feedback. Going on a physical, practical level when you leave your home, if you're going to leave your home, go to open mics. Go to, crazy as it sounds, they do it all the time in New York and California. Go to a train station. Go to a bus stop where people congregate.
Safely.
Well, yes, safely.
But the thing is that you have to
park
check
your
with
butt and do
certain
your thing.
towns. And I have a friend who was an Asbury Park player. He might even be listening out here. His wife was into doing some bit parts and acting, so they moved to California. And he is a professional busker, street musician. He's actually even been cited, not by citations and fines, but cited by the community as one of the best out there. I believe it's something called like the Silver Hydrant Award on Sunset Boulevard. But the thing is that each town would have a street musician law. In the summertime, Seaside does grant some permits. They do it about every 4 or 5 blocks, and you're actually allowed to put your guitar case out there, and people will give you tips. And there are people out there who can sometimes make a couple $100 a night. You go into a local bar and you do an acoustic set, you're going to get $100 flat. You might make more on the corner. Do it in a safe place. Do it where you know you're allowed to do it. And you know what? If the right person comes by someday who's in the business is going to ask you a question and say, hey, you're pretty good. Would you like to come maybe and play here or there? You never know where it's going to start. From my genre, from before me and after me, I could just tell you right now that both Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen all just started with a used secondhand guitar. And if you check out on either one of them, they're doing pretty good nowadays, because the bottom line is that perseverance and talent is what's going to get it done. And while you get into this business, there's a lot of things that can lead you astray. A wholesome discipline. You don't have to be a Mormon, and nothing against the Mormons or the Osmonds, but the bottom line is that a wholesome discipline. Know how to control yourself, because the bottom line is that the pizzazz, the music, the music matters. The pizzazz, the girls or the guys, depending if you're a male or female doing it, the money and all the glitter that goes away. And when you're there alone at night, you want to be proud of what you did, and then say, "Hey, I'm going to live to do it again tomorrow." So stay true if you believe it, and it doesn't matter what age you start. I got started in this business late. Kim got started in this business late, and maybe that's why we're part of
started
it now,
early,
because we didn't get sidetracked.
I'm back.
She's back. So best advice: get out to open mics. Karaoke's if they take it seriously. You go into a place and there's people in there sounding really bad, but if you get a guy who really knows what he's doing, go in there and then practice the song all week long. Even if it's something that's a cover song, go in there, and if you really belt it out, you're going to feel confidence. And when it comes to writing your own material, there are a lot of websites out there that will give you an idea of how to structure a song. Whether you want to go a couple of verses, a chorus, a bridge. As far as chord progressions, sing within your voice range and make the lyrics something that comes from inside of you. A life experience of a love lost, a family member lost, a place you traveled to, a girl that you admired in school who you never were brave enough to talk to. Just write what you know. And believe it or not, if you're good at it, the doors will open for you.
I think a little bit went off and to the left from that. A couple things I could also think of, going back to his original question, Lawrence, their name drop again, is flash self. Go to whatever your genre of music is that you do. I don't know if you are just a vocalist. I don't know if you play a guitar, a keyboard. You might just play drums. Something. If you have something that's portable that you could take with you, I don't care if it's a guitar, whatever. Go, or even just a mic that has the little portable amp. They now have battery pack ones. Mm-hmm. Go to whatever your genre be. If you are country music, go to certain, I don't know, even the independent clothing stores. Go to some of the, oddity shops and say, "Hey, can I stand outside and sing a couple songs?" I know it sounds kind of unorthodox, but it can be done.
The other thing is obvious, and it's kind of a joke, but if we think Phoebe and Friends, the whole thing was they let her sing there for free. But the bottom line is there may
people
be
hear
that
you, people
coffee
talk.
Shop in your neighborhood.
And your
there may
phone's
be
ringing.
my phone is ringing. The coffee shop in your neighborhood, the coffee shop down the street. There are so many of these places now, little pop-up bakeries or even bistros. You go in and you say, "Hey, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I would gladly, play here for free one night during the week for 2 hours. See what you think of me, and if you do like me, I'll come back, and then maybe you can give me a few bucks."
Okay, but we don't know if Lawrence is a vocalist. He might be just an instrumentalist.
Well,
so
I think this is in general, but the thing is,
No, there's
that there
other
are people
ideas
who
too.
might even, if you're just an instrumentalist, there are a lot of bars out there who would not mind having a keyboard player in the corner, because it's one of those things that if you have a corner bar and it's not a sports bar and it's just a place where locals hang, most people hang there because they're just trying to get away from their life for a little while. And by getting away from their life for a little while, that music in the background is soothing to them. And if you're good at it, a bar owner's going to appreciate it. And you could have a regular calling there and there are guys who are lounge players who've been doing it for 40 or 50 years, and they've literally raised their kids and put them through college on it because they're good at it. There's nothing, that's not respectable about going out and playing music, singing, and doing it because you feel that's what you want to do.
Another idea is, like I said, you'll see the banter between us. Unspoken wise, I'm thinking, I want to say this. No. Right now, it's the summertime. So what is the summer? The summer, you think of the shore. You could go to, let's just say, go to Seaside. I don't know where you are located, but if you're located in Jersey, where we are right now, go to Seaside, go to Municipal Hall and ask, can I get it's $25, I think, for the day, Get a permit so you can take a chair and sit right on the boardwalk and play. Put a hat down and there you go. You can do it, and now you're performing. You don't know who's hearing you, from what walk of life, what town, what city, what state that someone is, but they just walked by and they heard you play. Then, if you have a printer at home, go back to that computer, make yourself a little placard card, get a couple business cards printed up at Staples, like 500 for $9.99. Put them down, make a nice little fan. People are going to take your card. Start small. If, like you said, concerning finances, right there, I think at total you just spent $35. If you are a smoker, then that might mean giving up 2 packs. Find where your value is. But I would do that. I would go sit my butt. Yep. down on Seaside Boardwalk and start playing.
Should always be room there between, literally from the North Jersey shore all the way down to Cape May. There's 100
Now's the
communities.
time. It's summer. Get your butt out there.
Some of them you can maybe just go out there and do, but pick up the phone and call. You don't even have to go to the municipal hall if you're not in that area and say, hey, I'm a street musician. Do I need a permit? And they might say, yeah. And I
Well,
even
for the
think
board-
25
for the
day,
boardwalk, you will, yeah.
It might be like
right.
150 for the season, but you know what? That's good money spent. If you go down there one night a week, more than anything, the satisfaction of making a few bucks on it is nice. But if somebody comes up to you and said, hey, I like the way you played that, or you'll get somebody who'll come up and say, hey, do you know this song? And maybe you play that for them, and they like you and thank you for it and throw a tip in. It's a good sense of satisfaction. And I think the music for itself is something you build on. Every night you go out there and do well, you're going to feel a little bit better about going out there and doing it the next night. And it will build your confidence. And again, whether you want to be a solo performer, a singer, a songwriter, just a player, or you want to build a band around you, you will also start to connect with people in the business. That's one thing about this business. Everybody knows everybody.
I'm trying to keep him, though, in the genre where I understand where you're going with what you're explaining, but I'm trying to actually go towards his question where finance-wise and advertising-wise.
Financially.
So I'm trying to get you as minimalistic as possible in terms
Kim
of
is
finance.
saying to you is absolutely solid advice. You could get yourself out there playing whatever you're doing, whether you're singing, playing keyboards,
no.
whatever,
I mean,
for a very cheap price.
Not even that. I'm saying even free. You don't need a permit to walk
Right.
on the beach. If you have a guitar or a keytar and you got the battery amp at Guitar Center or something like that, walk on the beach. Now you're singing. That's not costing you anything other than the heat on your feet. You could do that even.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You could walk in a mall parking lot. You could do any of these things where it's public common ground. You don't need a permit for that part.
There are people in LA, and I'm not joking. I've seen this. I've heard about it. But I actually did see it once. That will literally show up when there is a news reporter at the scene of an accident or a fire.
What, the ones that go behind and go like this?
No,
trying
they
to
will
go like-
actually
okay.
go in and start singing and hold up their glossy. They will actually start doing lines from movies and hold up their glossy because, all joking aside, we were in a restaurant in LA, little Italian place off the beaten path, and
I
they
don't
knew
know if
we
it's
were a
proper to
band from
drink
New
on,
Jersey.
on camera, but I'm gonna.
But we're going to set the setting here, and the guy comes in, he's a waiter, and he's like, are you guys a band? And yeah, we are, and we're from New Jersey. And he's like, oh, well, I'm a singer-songwriter. And by the time we were done, we had his 3 CDs, his glossy, his contact information, and basically who his third-grade music teacher was. There are so many people talented out there in LA, and they are talented. They just can't get into
Everywhere.
business. New Jersey, there is a lot of people out here in New Jersey who are talented, but the thing is that I've seen this from around the world. There's something about saying you're from Jersey and you're into music, whether it be going all the way back to Sinatra, Frankie Valli, Four Seasons, Whitney Houston, obviously Bruce, obviously Bon Jovi, and all the other acts that have come along the way. New Jersey has a good reputation. Well, they're from Jersey. They play guitar. They must be good. If you can do that and you're from New Jersey and you do that, you've got a little bit of an advantage. So hone your craft. Again, play wherever you can. Just don't be obtrusive to anybody, but at the same time, you'll find people who like your stuff. Sometimes it's as much as just getting out on your own front porch if you live in a neighborhood and let your neighbors know you play, and you might see the appreciation there. Somebody say, hey, I've got a backyard party for my kids. You want to come over and play some songs? You never know where you're going to get your start, but the thing is that find avenues. There's a lot of cheap ways to do it.
Lawrence, 9 out of 10 people have a cell phone. You don't.
I own
However,
a cell phone. I don't own a smartphone.
all right, smartphone. Sorry. 9 out of 10 people have a smartphone. 9 out of 10 people have Facebook on their phone. Anybody you see, if they like you, just say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you record me live on your page? Oh my God, you just got advertisement up the patootie because everybody's got so many people friends on their list, public profile, a lot of cross-reference with mutual friends. There you go. There's some more self-advertising, and it's free because you just ask people to do nothing but just record a little bit of you live, 30 seconds even. Do your thing. Now, more people are going to be knowing who you are, and they're going to say, you're going to chime in and say, oh my God, who was that? And some people may say, I'm not sure. He asked me to film him live. Other people may say, well, his name was Lawrence. He asked me to film him for a second. I know who you are. I've just said your name about 7 times.
Exactly. And Lawrence, the other thing is that we have a couple.
Always outside the box.
We have a couple of young acts that are working with us right now. Again, just to do a little plug for the company, Big Man's Management. We will represent.
You're so straight-laced.
I'm not trying to be so.
You're so straight-laced.
I'm trying to
Oh
make
my
a
God.
point here.
Told
but
you, oil and water.
The point is that we have walked into some acts, or they've walked into us and said, "Wow, we got to get this kid better venues to play because he's got some amazing talent." Don't fall victim to somebody saying, "Hey, sign this contract." Believe me.
No.
Aspen Springs
Ask
it took
advice.
them 7 years to get out of it. But the point is that from our point of view, if we feel we can book you, we take a nominal fee, and the nominal fee is right now flat 10%. If somebody offers you a multi-million-dollar contract, we'll talk. That hasn't happened yet. But the thing
Well-
is that what we do is if we see somebody like you and say, well, the kid's got talent, we're not going to book you in a big arena and expect you to sell out 500 to 5,000 seats. But to say, all right, again, I'm only going to assume singer, songwriter, guitar, because that is the basic format. So let's say you're that.
Watch
and
him
say,
blow
all right,
you out of the water, and he's a saxophonist or something.
if you're a saxophonist, call us. We're looking for one.
That's true.
But the point
Violin.
is, violins too. We should have more violins on television, but she doesn't get that joke. You had to be alive in 1975.
I
and
was
have a
alive
TV.
in 1975.
Anyway, the point is that
I
if
wasn't
you are a
born with a big
singer-songwriter
brain
with a
like this
guitar,
one.
and you came to me and I said, "Wow, he's good. He needs work." And we do have a couple of acoustic gigs where they're like happy hour, 4 to 7 for $100. Doesn't sound like much, but the thing is that in that 3 hours, 60, 70, 80 people coming in and out for happy hour are going to hear you sing.
You also don't
That's
know
more
if
than
you
most
can
people
handle a
ever get.
3-hour time period. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, I can do it," and then you really don't know till you're
And
actually in the moment.
Some of
You
those
think
we
you
will
can?
split
You
to
might.
two
That's
artists for 90 minutes.
you might not
each.
have that many songs. That's not
And that
background
would be
music.
my
That's his
phone.
phone again.
And I have no idea who that
Lawrence,
is. so
I
we're
hope
not
we've
answering
answered
it
in
now.
any way, shape, or form your question, including going off topic a little bit. So if you are still listening,
Text back and
let us know. And
And
I'd love just to say, like, or actually, if you would say, like, "Wow, you guys just rambled on for nothing," or "Wow, you had some great points," or "You two are just really funny to watch." I don't know. I'd like to hear it.
I would love feedback.
By the way,
And,
your hair looks good.
gee, thanks. I just came from getting it styled. So,
Bet you nobody ever said that to you on the air.
I don't think anybody's ever said anything to me on the air before, except get off the camera. But
Ah,
well, I'm usually behind the camera. I'm usually not on the air. But I guess continuing on, and basically the question was a good one. What does it take to get yourself going in this business?
that wasn't his question.
Well, in a cheap way. He said, if you're talented,
Finances and advertising.
finances and advertising. The thing is that also find us. And I'm joking, but I'm being serious.
Look at the symbol there on
Look at the
Facebook. I
symbol.
know you got social media,
If
Lawrence.
you
Said your name
are-
again.
A singer-songwriter who's never performed. Whether you do cover stuff or you do stuff, on your own. Get in touch with us through the site. We'll tell you where there's an open mic night. Come on out and we'll listen to you.
There's an email
we-
on the site and
we're gonna
everything
wrap it
else. So this was our first time. We're so happy to have been here. Thank you for having
We
us.
are out of time.
I'm going
Thanks
to call
to
him
Gene.
Giggles because you heard it in the
Just
background,
remember,
right?
Big Man's Management on Facebook. And check us out. Send us an email. There's a link to a phone number.
The direct number for us is 732-267-3602. Again, the email is also on the Facebook. You can messenger us also. We will get back to you within moments because he hates the fact that my phone is always near me.
And every Sunday night, 5:30 to 9:30, Friendly's Robbinsville, Route 33 Robbinsville, open mic karaoke. Please come out and join us. Everyone's welcome.
I'm Kim. This is Gino. Hopefully we'll be seeing you again. Thank you for those that have listened. Thank you for those that are to be listening when this is re-aired. And have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.